So, hello everyone and welcome to another video from Keobastein. This is K-BAS, gonna be a quick one right here, just to give you a little update of a few things. First off, I did get a chance to try the Invincible Versus and also a bit of 2X KO, and right now neither games are really holding my attention. This might be me due to not being the biggest fan of tag games in general, I would say. Yeah, one, I'm generally do like to kind of stick to having one character. The chaos of, or the chaotic neutral of those games can be quite overwhelming, if you will. Another issue also is just kind of none of these games really have mechanics that are really drawing me in, like Invincible Versus. Well, they got two different guard counts, so which is kind of, they have a push block, which is kind of almost typical of versus games, but they also got something called Heroic Strike, but it looks like it's just one hit. It doesn't seem like you actually get to start often. It's like, okay, one we got push back and one is a guard council attack, but you don't really get to seem to start anything, or at least from the little time I messed with it, which probably be another reason why I haven't really found like, they didn't have like dummy training, or rather the record and playback function. So a lot of the other mechanics I want to explore, I couldn't really explore them to the degree that I want, which was disappointing. And then there was like, who do I even really want to play? And I at least had some experimentation with Explosion, who I kind of like the idea and theory crafting that's in my head when I look at his tool sets, from his projectile, the traps, and whatnot. The move that kind of made me want to really play with him is this like leaping attack where he throws a projectile downwards. It seemed like a kind of pretty interesting like whip punish like move potentially, but again, that's only in theory, because one issue I noticed is on regular hit, I could combo off of that. I could combo out of that move, but on counter hit, I don't get a combo, which is like, okay, that's weird, especially on a counter hit scenario. So the game's definitely rough and whatnot. And 2X KO, I like Braum, and that's where my interest in 2X KO stops and begins. I like Braum. Everything else I really don't care for the game. And if I only really like one character in a game that's ideally 2v2, and that's even less mechanically robust than Invincible Versus, I think it's safe to say that I'm probably not going to like the game. I mean, I already had 2 crash outs already with one of my playing buddies, who admittedly is a very strong opponent. Yes, they were using Yasuo and Darius, but I wouldn't go far to say it was the power level that was making that experience all bad, because I also play that person in other fighting games and I don't crash out nearly as hard. Sometimes, but no, I don't really crash out with them. And in fact, there is a game that we did play that even when I do lose, I still enjoy it, and that game is still a team game as well, and that's Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact. That game I am actually quite enjoying and whatnot. I think I like the Nim mechanic. Like, it's just kind of a very strong mechanic that can basically punish on people who overextend their pressure. That's not to say other games don't have that, but either it is execution inaccessible. That's an execution inaccessible. That does not. It's either has a high skill check that makes it difficult to either do the strategy or techniques to counter overly aggressive consistently, or the mechanics just not really there. Don't even say it's just not really there. No, fuck it, I was just saying it just doesn't really catch. Maybe I just don't like the mechanic or the option I have available to try to counter. Now, Impact, I can get full combo punishes if my opponent overstands under pressure, and they can counter that counter, and then I can counter that, and it goes back and forth. But even though I like, it's only just that Nen stand can. The game is also open. Like, what can combo to each other? It's all a matter of like nothing. Like, you could do multiple level 1s to each other. You could do a level 3 into a level 1, level 1 sometimes to a level 3, and whatnot. Like, the game is very open, and I am a fan of that. So you're kind of allowed to craft what you want. Even when I look at the the meta talk for the game. What by meta talk? As in people who like play the game high level, a lot of them even say that while there is a concept of synergy, because how robust the characters are, or maybe because how homogenized, maybe you can ask either or, you're kind of able to put any team you want together. You could do a dream team and whatnot. Could you maybe do something optimal? Yeah, but it's also not considered bad to just have something that's considered inoptimal, or for like a better term, have your own dream team. And I do think that's a very good thing. Or shouldn't I say a good thing? I at least think it leads to the game being open, because the current team I have does not feel terrible and bad. But then that's another good thing. I am giving characters that I feel gets to play like I want. I got Netro, who's a powerful powerhouse character who has some good reactionary tools. I got Razor, who's a very good wall of a character with one of his jumping moves. And then Miriam is all my damage and pokes in one. Damage and pokes into one. He's very good at whip punishing as well with his super. So net impact just kind of does everything right outside of just the netcode being trash. And pricing. I mean, even someone who's becoming an endorser of the game, I can't recommend the game at that price point of $60. Not even $50, not even $40. $30 is kind of where I'm like, it's $30, cool. $35 if you're really interested in a open fighting game, or if you're like a fighting game lover, yeah, be willing to pay that $35. Any more than that, then it's like, nah, I can't recommend that and whatnot. And that reminds me of the video from Leon Massey where his video goes, fighting games are everyone, but not every fighting game is for everyone. And I had to keep telling myself that, because there are times I just try to muscle my way through to enjoy a game when really that may just not be the case. It just may not be a game that's for me and whatnot. I know I keep calling myself a fighting game connoisseur. I need to retire that, because I'm not a connoisseur anymore. Especially if I'm not that much invested into all different fighting games, because I'm certainly not. There's definitely some more that came out that I've not given due proper attention. Like, I know there's Kansui Fighter that just came out. But I do want to play Heatwave. I was disappointed to find out that Heatwave did not have a native online mode, but then again, I'm glad it still exists for both what it does for community, art, but even just as a game, because it does plays well. I'm not going to take that away from it. Heatwave is a great game that plays well too, in my opinion. So yeah. But I did also mention that some life changes were going to happen to me, and some of them have already taken place. One of them being where I'm no longer doing overnight. If I didn't reveal that before, then now I'm revealing now. I used to work overnight, which limit my possibilities of both playtime and social activities. But now that I'm kind of back to working something of a regular shift of a job, I may be able to do a little bit more social activity, a little bit more maybe content creation and whatnot. It's going to be at a much slower pace maybe still and whatnot, but yeah, I think that's actually going to be happening and such. And I hope you people will be willing to join me on that journey. But I think that is enough of this K-BAS. Y'all have a great day, and if I have another one, hopefully I have another one before the end of this year. And if not, then let's finish this year off with a good note, people. Love y'all.